I'm Batman. I'm vengeance.
I'm Martha?
Why would you say that name?
Yeah, why would I say that name? Shit.
Oh man. Will the real Batman please stand up? Cue the Slim Shady music, guys. So hello folks of the internet. Welcome back to another video from The Real Heroes. Corey, Nick, and Kevin here. And today we're gonna talk about some drama. We don't really know what the hell is going on in the DC universe with the Batman property specifically. So there was a fun New York Times article came out recently. It's a profile on Walter Hamada, who's the president of DC Films. He just got re-upped for a new contract that I think takes him into 2023. But some interesting tidbits that we pulled out of that. It appears that the answer to everything is going to be the multiverse. So it sounds like DC is moving into an Earth 1 and Earth 2 situation. Earth 1, characters like Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot, will continue their adventures there, while new incarnations, such as Robert Pattinson as the Batman, will populate Earth 2. The Flash movie is getting ready to shoot soon. We'll link the two universes and we'll feature two different Batman characters. It looks like Ben Affleck returning as one, because he's the standard DCEU Batman currently. And then Michael Keaton coming back as the OG Batman from 1989 and 1992's Batman and Batman Returns. And then we've also got the Justice League Snyder Cut that's going on HBO Max, which is going to feature Ben Affleck's Batman. But it seems like right now that's being described as a storytelling cul-de-sac, a street that leads nowhere, which is very fascinating. So, Kevin, I want to start with you. What in the blue hell is going on over at DC Films right now?
Sounds like a lot of shortcuts. I hate to say that because I love these characters, but it seems like it's becoming well, how do we explain that? I know, multiverse. It's just an easy answer at this point. Now, having said that, obviously all of this has existed in the comics for a long time, but it was kind of the same thing in the comics, where it's like, well, we let this writer go in this direction and this writer went in this direction 50 years apart, and how do we kind of reconcile everything? Well, different dimensions, different whatever planes of existence. It's interesting to me that moving forward, it sounds like they want to continue with the DCEU on one side and then DC Films on the other side, being their more seemingly artsy stuff like Joker and the Batman. Which, from what I can tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, those are not immediately planned for the multiverse crossover, but will likely be drawn into it at some point. So right now we're seeing like the Batfleck as one of the Batman, and then also Keaton as one of the other ones. So the whole Earth 1, Earth 2 thing, I mean, it stands to be extremely interesting and very entertaining.
Yeah.
Nick, what do you think?
I'm excited just to see Michael Keaton again. That'll be fucking great.
But where's George Clooney and Val Kilmer and all this?
And the nipples.
And the nipple suit. And the Bat card. Remember the Batman American Express that he had?
Yep.
Well,
yep.
I don't know. Nick, what do you think on this? Do you think this is like a studio with different departments that can't see eye to eye or can't figure out what they want to do together?
Oh, absolutely. There's a divide within DC. We've kind of seen this coming, I think, and it's cool to see people, right? It's cool to see Keaton coming back, and I think he's supposed to be is it Batman Beyond?
That's the rumor
version, like which I think is really cool. I mean, I liked the old cartoons from Batman Beyond. Those are pretty dope. But I think in terms of why, sure, it's a fix. It's there's too much of a mess on the table right now. How can we band-aid certain things? And I think this is how they're also going to be able to pull off a Wonder Woman 3 and bring back Chris Pine
again.
Keep that going. Yes, I think that's my prediction. I think they're going to do it again. The only problem is that if they go that route, it's going to be another problem. I think it might be too cringy. I hope they don't, though, just for the sake of like allowing Diana to do something different.
Sure.
But
nice
who
to
knows?
see.
Maybe we should go off and live happily ever after.
Whose body would he take over this time, though?
I think he just doesn't die in the events of the first movie, right? So like he doesn't die in that.
Oh, okay.
Just some way he jumped out of the plane before it exploded and wound up on a boat in the water or something. And just
I say let him take over the body of Jack Black. That'd be interesting.
Oh my God.
I was going to say I volunteer as tribute because, and let me say I'm in a very happy relationship right now, but Gal Gadot is gorgeous. So
that's true.
Chris Pine can occupy my body, and I'd love to have his charisma. So that would be fantastic.
True. But for the sake of Batman's, I liked Batfleck. I think Ben Affleck is portrayed the role rather well. Obviously, he had one of the best fight scenes out of any Batman in the warehouse. But Pattinson's Batman, I think, will be different. Yeah. But I think it also shows a lot of promise. And I'm okay with these one-offs. It's kind of the same thing. Like, where's Christian Bale's Batman? He's not going to reprise the role.
No.
So just like, Kilmer and Clooney, they're just kind of done. They're not going to re-enter the atmosphere with this. And
yeah,
I don't blame them because, would you come back to do this? I mean,
Christian Bale found a home in Marvel.
Yeah. So yeah, Keaton is too, though, kind of.
Oh yeah, he's the Vulture in the Spider-Man movie.
So
if you're Christian Bale and the 3-movie legacy that you left was the Nolan trilogy, then I say no.
Yeah.
Don't go back and do it again. Because it was wrapped up nicely.
Yeah.
And I understand purposefully left slightly open-ended with a little bit of question in your mind. Just I always felt about that like I felt about Total Recall. Where it was like, oh, that's nice to think about, doesn't matter.
Right.
But if you are Michael Keaton and you only got 2 films and they were as fun as they were and they didn't take themselves nearly as seriously, fuck yeah, you come back and do that again. Why not? And especially with the talk of him crossing over into pretty much all of the DC EU properties moving forward and being their kind of Nick Fury, if you will. That's going to be a great role as kind of like the father figure, shepherd or whatever you want to call it, for some of these younger characters that are popping up in the DCEU. I think it's going to be a great role for him.
Yeah, it's a slam dunk for him from like a career perspective too.
Yeah, absolutely.
They probably pulled the money truck up to his house, right? And then if you're going to be in like a Nick Fury type role, you're not doing a whole hell of a lot. There's not a terrible ton of action. You're showing up for a couple minutes each scene, and maybe you're featured heavily in one movie here, one movie there, sort of thing.
Right.
And you get to be Batman. I mean, most actors that get the opportunity to play Batman, they take
say yes.
So I get it. I dig it. I like Michael Keaton as Batman. He's not my favorite. I think Christian Bale's my favorite by a long shot. But again, Kevin, I think that's to your point, the legacy of those movies.
Exactly.
And it's not just Batman that makes those movies as good as they are. The Joker performance, the Bane performance, Ra's al Ghul from Liam Neeson, the music, the cinematography, like that. To me, those 3 movies are the best comic book anything that we've ever gotten, which, I might get some flack for that because it's not Avengers Endgame level, final fight scenes or whatever. But that Batman trilogy is hard to top because there's just so much character progression and it's so deep and it's so beautiful. I don't think it'll be touched for a long time.
Right. I agree.
My hopes actually, though, Corey, are that this new Pattinson, the Batman, comes close to it, because
the trailer was killer. I'll give you that.
yeah, and the thing that makes the Nolan trilogy so fantastic to me is how much tribute they pay to the core ideas behind Batman, which was like, he's just a dude, he's a rich dude, obviously, he's in peak physical performance, but there's nothing overtly like crazy or supernatural or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And those movies were just that. They were fantastic characters without superpowers. Everything was explainable. He took off his shirt and he was bruised up and cut up and injured
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think at least that's the way that they're gonna go with the Pattinson as well. They're playing up the whole he's a detective.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The detective aspect would be really neat and fresh to see.
Yeah.
So I would love to see a nice fleshed out trilogy again like that, you know, because Dark Knight will never get topped for a comic book movie, period. I think, you know, maybe some other movies will go toe to toe with it. You know, talk about a sequel, you know, being the best of a trilogy. You know, so it can be done. It's just a matter of again, like fleshing it all out and being able to have the freedom to do that. So we'll see what ends up happening with the Pattinson.
Yeah, and I think the Pattinson thing, with the news coming out of Michael Keaton being in the Flash movie and the DCEU, which most of those movies are rated PG-13.
Yeah,
they can still have a Batman that's in a PG-13 rated series, but this Earth 2 Batman, maybe they go for the R rating, because obviously DC struck gold with the Joker movie, with Joaquin Phoenix, which was, you know, R rated. There aren't too many R rated superhero movies. Most of them do very well. Logan, Deadpool, Joker, they're all, you know, critically praised and also did pretty damn good at the box office as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if this opens the door for that Batman movie to be considerably darker, R rated, and maybe Earth 2 is the, you know, the adult DC universe, and Earth 1 is the, you know, for the entire family to enjoy.
Right. And I would not expect, you know, anybody out there, don't expect this Pattinson movie to cross over. It's not, I don't think that's going to happen with this particular movie. There's way too much going on in this movie for them to spend any time on a multiple timeline. I mean, you've already got 3 villains. You've got the whole backstory. It's only like year 2 for him. There's way too much there. So don't expect some other Batman popping into the frame during the Pattinson film.
Yep. So where does this leave Ben Affleck is my next question, because you know, we're going to see him in the Snyder Cut of the Justice League. He's apparently going to pop up in the Flash movie, because there were supposed to be 2 Batmen in the Flash movie, and it seems like that's kind of going to be his swan song and his exit from the DCU. However, you know, if you listen to what the internet says, there are a lot of websites and a lot of folks that seem to be in the know that think that AT&T, which is the parent company of Warner Brothers that made the Snyder Cut thing happen, that they want to continue that story on HBO Max independent of the films. Do you guys buy into that at all, or do you think that's just like industry bullshit?
Given the money that they're throwing at the Snyder Cut and how much latitude they've given him to go ahead fulfill his vision, it wouldn't be surprising to me if they did that. And in fact, I'd be really pleased about it myself. You see like channels like Disney Plus putting out very, very high budget serialized TV stuff, which would be a really good fit for some of those stories and a good way to further along. I mean, hell, the Snyder Cut is basically going to be half of a season of television right there.
And they spent $70 million on top of what they already spent making the film to make this a reality, which is,
so they're not afraid. They're not afraid to do it.
Right.
And
at this point, honestly, what do they have to lose? Roll the dice, man.
But I don't think they're going to lose money though. You know, to their to their advantage. I think the response is going to be big and bolsterous because the fans that wanted and vouched for this for so long, they're finally getting what they wanted. So when fans do that, there's a lot of praise. I mean, the season finale of Mandalorian it is enough right there as an example.
Mhm.
So I think when you, and sure, I know it might not be the exact same thing for what we're getting in Justice League as it is in like the comics, but
still fan
it's
servicey.
still right. It's going to be very fan servicey. We're going to get things we were supposed to see that we didn't get to see, backstories from Cyborg and Flash, and it'd be great to see something Green Lantern related. I think there's a lot that they could build off of this, and I think it's the smarter idea is to head this into HBO Max, because I'm going to quote Kevin Feige here from Marvel. Like the example he spoke with WandaVision, there are things that are happening in WandaVision that you can't do in a movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's the route that I think, sure, even if DC copies off of what they're doing, by all means, just make it good.
Yeah.
Give us
Exactly.
what we want as fans.
Yeah.
Do a good job, write a good script, write a good season, and deliver. If you deliver, we will respond, and you're going to get praise from us, and you're going to make more because the reception will be so high. It's like, well, we're making money off of this. Why shouldn't we have more? It's an easy equation, and
Right.
and yet sometimes the companies, the industry is blind to it. They just don't adhere to simple equations. They're like, if you do this and this, you will get that,
and people will spend money on it.
We're gonna do this instead. We're gonna go
Yeah.
the opposite direction. And then they're surprised, like, we don't understand why you got a negative review and why people didn't go to see it and pay money. It's like, are you daft?
That reminds me
on.
of like when Disney released the Han Solo movie in between Deadpool 2 and Avengers Infinity War, and it was like
terrible marketing.
Are you surprised that it didn't do well? I mean, the average moviegoer goes to the movies once, maybe twice a year, and you just put that in between like two massive Marvel juggernauts. But I digress. But yeah, so to close this video out, I want to ask each of you, between these three, between Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, and Robert Pattinson, who is your Batman?
That's an easy question for me. Nostalgia wise, it's Keaton, because I mean, I was all about those movies when I was a kid. When did the first one come out? Like 89 or something
89.
like that.
Yeah.
I was 12 years old. I mean, that was the sweet spot for me. I was nuts over that movie.
Yeah.
However, I think Ben Affleck is probably the best that we've seen in both the roles. Like, I mean, Christian Bale, fantastic in one aspect and pretty good in the other. And I mean, we can go back and forth on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think Ben killed it on both sides of that character.
Okay.
As both Wayne and Batman.
All right, Nick, what do you think?
Ooh, yeah. I might have to agree with Kevin. Just the same thing. Granted, I was 4 when the first Batman came out.
I got a couple years on you.
Some people are probably watching this and listening like, I wasn't even born yet, which that's fine. I'm sure if you haven't gone back to watch it, you need to. But
George Clooney is their Batman, so that's their fault.
God. Ugh, sorry, George. Plus Jack Nicholson as the OG movie Joker. Come on, he set a good tone there. I think Keaton. As much as I do love Ben Affleck as Batman. Like I totally agree with what Kevin said as the aspect, the comparison between him and Bale. I want to give Pattinson a chance, though. I think he could again deliver something fresh and new.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm going rogue. Pattinson's it for me.
Really?
That 2.5-minute trailer absolutely sold the shit out of that character. Hey, y'all can
going
laugh.
Against the grain.
You can laugh as much as you want. I think that movie is going to lean into some darker, more just like sinister type stuff that the other movies can't get away with. And if you have watched some of Robert Pattinson's work lately. The Safdie brothers movie Good Time, The Lighthouse.
Dude, Lighthouse.
There's,
Oh my God.
Tenet. I
Oh,
mean, you guys haven't
what's
seen Tenet, I don't think yet.
no,
Like,
not yet.
the dude
No.
is a fucking movie star. at
The
this point.
Devil All the Time.
He's incredible in Devil all the time. Him and Tom Holland, whew, man, they're electric on screen
Just
together.
those like sermon scenes, like
Yeah.
gives you chills.
Dude, imagine if Pattinson enters the MCU as Harry Norman. Think about it. Playing the seat. You heard it here first
I
on
don't know,
Real
man.
Heroes.
I think it's funny though, because we'll get back to the Pattinson thing in a second, but we're seeing so many that like cross back and forth between the two universes at this point,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
pretty cool because they're just running out of good actors and there's too many characters. But yeah, for me, I think they're gonna do 3 of those Pattinson movies. I think he's gonna be incredible in them. And I'm really excited to see a fresh new take on the character. So
I think he will. So
Yeah.
cool. Well, that's gonna wrap
Agreed.
it up for this video here. If you guys like it. If you like us, subscribe. Turn on notifications that way you can see any of the new videos that we post. Check us out on our Instagram feed at Real Heroes Podcast. Check us out on Twitter at Real Heroes Pod. And if you have any questions for any of us here, or you'd like to come on the show as a guest, make sure to email us over at realheroespodcast@gmail.com. But until next time, we're Vengeance or Martha or Batman.
yeah, all the above.
All of the above.